Today, there are no high schools left in America that teach students the knowledge necessary to start their own business,
sure there are.
invent their own product, or even how to use the internet
Yeah, there
and
are.
other free resources to become educated.
To use the internet? How fucking stupid do you have to be not to be able to use the internet?
To attend the average private four-year college in America today is $27,293.
What's that?
Up 29% from
That's like the cost of a new car or something. Let me just tell you one thing, teabaggers. $27,000. What is that? That's like a new car? Huh? I mean, what is that? A new car, maybe some change? A couple of good used cars? Let me just tell you one thing about education. Education is the one thing that they can't take away from you. They can take everything else. They can take your home. They can take your freedom. They can take your life. They can take your children. They can take all that gold you got buried in the backyard. They can take all your guns too. But they can't take your education. That's one thing they can't take. They can take the fillings out of your teeth if they're gold. They certainly can do that. But education is one thing that they can't take. Now, what is alarming is that in the last few years, there has been a huge buildup of people who are against college educations. All right? Alex Jones, certainly working on it. Salente. You know, Jones with his visceral attack on Noam Chomsky, you know, one of the modern fathers of philosophical thought. You know, calling him names after he had been cut off. You know, Chomsky couldn't defend himself, and there's been a huge backlash against people who have a college education. College is not a scam. There's no conspiracy. Is it expensive? Yeah. So that's pretty much what I paid. Yeah, it was like $26,000, $24,000, $26,000, something like that. When you threw in the beer and the tacos, it'd be about $35,000. But was it worth it? Yeah, of course it was worth it. Let's look at this. Let's debunk some of the things that we've heard lately. This all comes from Wikipedia. This is actually from the Washington Post. Unemployment rate in education. No diploma, it's about 13%. Bachelor's degree, it's about 5%. You do the math. You know, you do the math. No college, no nothing, no high school diploma versus no college versus some college versus bachelor's degree. I'll let you do the math. The people who put this video out, the NIA, they're a bunch of scammers. They're like a pump and dump stock option thing. It's sort of like the Trends Institute, Trends Research. They're speculators, and they don't care if you go down or not. You know, and at the end, it's sort of like, if you want to be one of us, one of the elite, buy gold. You know, at like, what, almost $2,000 an ounce? Are you fucking crazy? Come on. Buying gold. What is it, $1,900 an ounce? I mean, why in the fuck would you buy something that 10 years ago was like $240? Why would you do that? Oh, you know, it's security. No, it's not. It's an arbitrary value. It's just a metal. It's just a metal. Now, you know, granted, throughout history, it's been, you know, a valuable metal, of course. But it's like, I mean, it's like buying this cell phone, this piece of shit cell phone. um, just some plastic and metal made in Hungary. Why would you pay $300 for this when last year it was worth $50? Why would you do that? I don't get it about you people. Just buy gold, buy silver. You should have been buying gold and silver 10 years ago. When an ounce of silver was $4.50. Stupid fucking people. Let's think about college educated people. It's like, we don't trust you. We don't trust you. You're not intelligent. People like me are intelligent. I mean, sorry, but I'm no rocket scientist, but we don't trust you. You make these decisions based on religion or fear and all this shit, and it's we don't trust you. We really don't like you either. I mean, that's just it. You hate us. You come out and spew. We never come out and spew about oh yes, well he only has a college, he's a college dropout, or oh well, she only completed the 9th grade. You never hear about that. But what you do hear about is those lesbian faggots up there in Berkeley, up in Massachusetts, and they're all studying how to eat each other's pussies, and we don't like you. We just don't like you. Anyway, another thing that Alex goes on and on about is homeschooling. I don't think it's a good idea for homeschooling. I think that some kids should have homeschooling, certainly. There are certain exceptions. When we're talking about schooling, we're talking about grades, 1 through 12. I think unless it's a really drastic thing, and history has shown this, and society shows this too, you need to put your kids in public school. Okay. This homeschooling thing with this like Christian values and whatnot. The thing about homeschooling, and there's even a lot of websites devoted to it, weird, unsocialized homeschoolers. There wouldn't be a website devoted to it unless it was probably had some modicum of truth. It's like I've said before, when you talk about stereotypes and things like that, they generally have some basis of truth on them. The homeschooling kids that I've known, and there weren't that many, we had some neighbors in Kansas who were homeschooled, and they're really fucked up. I mean, they had never seen other kids, and they're sitting there like picking their nose and eating boogers, and trying to get me to convert to Jesus and stuff, which is fine. If you want to be converted to Jesus, or whatever, but they were just really weird. They really were weird. They're like the twins on The Simpsons. Another thing about homeschooling, the pros of homeschool, yeah, sure, free to choose curriculum, okay, yeah, sure. But the thing is this, when they have social interaction, teachers are not always qualified to teach all subjects. Well, you can find that in public school, trust me. When I say do the math, it's because you have to do the math. But again, it's harder to provide social interaction, and children need social action. They need action, dude. They need to see things like, just hanging out, going to the park, or what we used to do would be, to go on bike rides and hang out with other kids. You need that, man. You can't have your kids growing up in a basement. Come on, it's fucked up. And the second one, colleges sometimes have stricter admission policies concerning homeschool students. That's definitely true. That's definitely true. Got a couple of minutes left. I'm going to go through this one thing. I live in Europe, and I'm a substitute teacher. at a basic school, called Základní škola, like a primary school, elementary, but it's really, it's junior high and elementary hooked up together. American kids there are a lot of kids in America who are not all that bright. We're going to use Finland, for example. They're a pretty typical European country. The thing about somewhere like Finland, they have a high school dropout rate of 4%, versus America's 25% of high school dropouts. There's no silly college for all mantra, and there certainly isn't a push to have all students sit through trigonometry class if it's not relative to the student. More importantly, there's also no negative connotation to the concept of vocational school. Let me just tell you one thing. Where I live, I wouldn't say most, I would say about 70% of the kids, they go to what we would call Votech. And there was always this thing like, yeah, it's fucking retarded, he went to Votech. That's what most of the high school students go to. But it's not Votech like working with tractor engines. It's things like accounting or healthcare, like become a nurse, or Průmyslovská industrial school, like you learn about like working on engines and shit. That's where I would have gone, because I'm real good with that stuff. Obchodní Academy, business school, working with computers. See, they've got all that shit here. And then for like the kids who aren't that bright, you can graduate from high school with a diploma in things like masonry or carpentry or bricklaying, or forestry. I mean, imagine going to high school and studying forestry, But see, in America, you're trying to get, Tamika and Shanae and, Taquan, or even somebody like me who can barely put two numbers together. You're trying to get them to read Shakespeare? Motherfucker, please. I mean, what is that? It's just a complete farce. It has nothing to do with reality. Another thing, what they're talking about, it's a scam, it's a fraud. This thing with Salente. See, in Europe, we have free higher education. College is free, and I think all of Europe certainly is here. But it's grade based. It's based on grades. It's not based on money. It's based on grades. If you have the grades, then they're willing to use taxpayer dollars instead of using taxpayer dollars to pay for, 2 occupations of Middle Eastern countries. They use taxpayer dollars to invest in children's education. And I, as a father, think that's pretty fucking cool. There's a lot more to it than that. You really have to look into it. But the thing about, getting a college degree, you have to have one, no matter where you live. You have to be able to speak fucking English. And you have to have a college degree of some sorts. Even if it's something that may not seem really relevant, you got to have one. Don't let them. This thing, they're trying to sell you gold and silver. This thing from this inflation institute or whatever. Do the research for yourself. Think about it. Any questions? PM me. Take care. Peace. God bless you.